Hello again, everyone. So in this video, I want to do a quick graphics card comparison. I'm currently running on the Compaq Prolinea 575. This will probably be my last video on this computer. I've got other computers to show off and do videos on. But I've been thinking about upgrading the video card. It's currently got an onboard Cirrus Logic 5434 local bus graphics with a mere 1 megabyte of video RAM. Not too bad, really. Decent. But I was wondering if I could get better performance if I upgraded the graphics chip for any of the DOS games. I mean, the 5434 is already halfway decent, but I've got this card. Light's a little bad here, but this is an S365 ViRGE. I don't know. I've never heard of an S365 ViRGE. I think it might just be a standard ViRGE. I just upgraded the graphics, the memory chips in here to total 2 megabytes, I think, or it might be 4 megabytes. And then I also have this Diamond Stealth 3D 2000 Pro with a full 4 megabytes of RAM. This is also using an S3 chip. This one's using the ViRGE DX graphics chip. I heard that the ViRGE DX is actually a pretty poor performer. It was considered one of the worst video cards of '96, I think. But I'm kind of curious how it holds up against the Cirrus Logic 5434. So, let's take a quick look. Let's reboot without any memory managers present, and we'll use Phil's Computer Lab DOS bench to benchmark the graphics specifically. Oh, nope, you're still booting the SCSI card. Which, by the way, I think in my last video on this computer, when I had upgraded, I said I was disappointed in the speed just because of its formatting speed. I have to take that back. Actually playing with this computer with SCSI is absolutely amazing. I love this upgrade. I believe I did a disk benchmark. I didn't capture any of the results, but I believe the previous IDE hard drive was only getting about burst of about 2.5 to maybe 5 megabytes per second, whereas this SCSI drive is bursting at like 18 megabytes per second and averaging about 5 to 7 megabytes. So way faster, and since it's a SCSI card, it offloads all the disk I/O from the CPU. It's impressive. But anyways, DOS bench, if I can spell. Let's do 3D bench for faster PCs. I have no idea what constitutes a faster PC, but let's run it. And of course, this is using the onboard Cirrus Logic 5434. And that score is a 96.6. Not bad at all. And then let's also do the Chris's 3D benchmark. I should be writing these down somewhere because I have 3 different video cards to look at. 96.6. Does it just keep spinning, or is there an end to this? Ah. 22.5 frames per second. Not too bad, 22.5 frames per second. And then, of course, the PC player benchmark for faster PCs. Let's see what this one has to say. It's almost done. The bottom is cut off there. Looks like 11.5 frames per second, 11.5. Interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and shut her down and install the S3 ViRGE, not the ViRGE DX, but the S3 ViRGE, and rerun those benchmarks and see if it's any better or not. We'll be right back. Okay, I just installed the S3 ViRGE. Let's boot up the machine and run it through its tests and take a look. Unfortunately, I didn't see a video banner telling me how much video memory is installed or anything. And I don't know of many DOS utilities that can actually tell you how much video RAM is installed. Most of them make a guess. And a lot of them just say 256K or more. Oop. Didn't catch it in time. I need to... Oh, hey, it said it there. I'll have to go back on the video and look at what it said. It did give me a video banner. Okay, come on. Gotta be at the ready. There we go. Okay, DOS bench, DOS bench. Let's rerun those same 3 benchmarks. This one was 96.6, 98.3, ever so slightly higher than it. Not by much, probably not even noticeable. And this was 22.5 frames per second, I believe. Yay, spinning cubes. Is this where Microsoft got their idea for the spinning DirectX cube? 22.5 frames per second, same score. So this video card seems to be almost exactly the same as the Cirrus logic. And let's do the last one, the PC player. Once again, it's cut off on the bottom. That kind of annoys me. So I largely expect this video card to be the same then. It's cut off, but it looks like 11.0. I think that might actually be less. Let's run SpeedSys and see what it says about the graphics card memory. It still thinks that I have the Cirrus logic enabled, but I know I disabled that. And it does show a full 4 megabytes for the S3 325 ViRGE. Interesting. So as best I can tell, these two graphics cards are pretty identical, except that the S3 card that I put in there has 4 megabytes instead of 1 megabyte, which doesn't really help much in DOS games. It wasn't until later Windows 95 games where they started using the extra video memory as like buffer memory to pre-process images and store extra textures and stuff like that. So it probably won't be too beneficial, but I was just hoping to get better performance under my DOS games. So with that said, let's go ahead and try out the S3 ViRGE DX and see if that one's any better. Be right back. Alright, new video card's installed. Powering it up now. I heard that the S3 ViRGE DX was so terrible of a performer. Maybe this was just under Windows 95. But it was so terrible of a performer that they nicknamed it the first graphics decelerator. Let's see how true that holds up. Gotta be on the ready. And starting MS-DOS, bypass, DOS bench. Let's start off with the VGA benchmark. .2. That is considerably slower. The other one was 98.2, I believe. Holy cow, that's incredibly slow. Let's try Chris's 3D benchmark. Just might be true. The ViRGE DX might be the first graphics decelerator. Now, I've heard that there's some DOS utilities that can enable extra features to get extra performance. Not sure how true that is. This one seems to be 21.9 frames per second, just slightly below the 22.5 of the other cards. Still less, though, and I find that curious, because the ViRGE DX is supposed to be newer than the ViRGE 365 or whatever the other model number was. And last but not least, PC Player, with it cut off at the bottom. Let's see how well this one does. So it looks like this video card is slower, the other S3 card is about the same, and the only benefit I get is the extra video memory, which does almost nothing for me. Perhaps I can get better color representation in Windows 3.1. But otherwise, there doesn't seem to be any advantage to adding one of these cards to this system. These S3 cards are not much better than the onboard Cirrus logic. Now, if only I could find that 1 meg upgrade card for this Prolinea to upgrade the Cirrus logic from 1 meg to 2 meg. Oh, it's done. It's cut off. It's 10.4. That is still slower. Yeah, the ViRGE DX is not a good card, folks. And just out of curiosity, let's run SpeedSys. and see if it can detect how much video memory is installed. And it correctly detects all 4 megabytes in the S3 ViRGE DX. GUI plus 3D accelerator. Maybe that's where the advantage is. Maybe it's all in Windows. Okay, we have a bonus here. 2 other video cards to try for upgrading. I currently have a Trident T9680, I believe is the card model. Same patience game as it boots up. Would this be a card worth upgrading to? Seeing a couple odd artifacts flash across the screen. Not sure if I should be worried about that. All right. Let's go the other way this time. Let's start with SpeedSys to validate the card we have. So this is a Trident TGUI 9660XG GUI accelerator with 1 megabyte of video RAM. Could have swore it was upgraded to 2 megs. There might be something wrong with the second meg. Alright, so let's drop back out and let's do the benchmarks. Do believe 98.2 was the score to beat. 83. It's about as good as the S3 ViRGE DX. Well, only slightly better. That got a 75. Chris's 3D player. 3 benchmark. So this video card does not seem to be a good contender for upgrading to. The onboard Cirrus logic seems to be basically the winner. I mean, the other cards, even though the S3 325 scored slightly higher than it, it doesn't seem to be any real benefit to going to that graphics card. I doubt it would be even noticeable in DOS games. And that's 19.2 frames per second, lower than the 22.5 of the S3 325 and of the Cirrus Logic. They both scored 22.5. And last but not least, the PC player benchmark. Hey, look, we actually get to see the bottom. 40%, 50%. Looks like we're a little cut off on the left, though, this time. It's cheating. It doesn't have to do the whole video. Just kidding. That's not how it works. Only 10 frames per second. Yeah, this is definitely not a good one. So the Trident is out of the mix. And last but not least, I actually found an ATi 3D. What is this? A 3D Pro Turbo PCI. Let's see if that one does any better. The ATi cards are usually pretty good from this era, and I think they were considered a higher end, higher quality option than the lower end S3 chips and even the Cirrus Logic. So we'll put that to the test and see how this particular card stacks against the others. Be right back. All right, ATi card is in. Same routine. Again, I don't see a banner when it boots up. Maybe it's just because the monitor is still coming on when the banner is being flashed across the screen. And here we go. Starting MS-DOS, bypass, DOS bench, DOS bench. Again, let's see what speeds this says. It notices this as an ATi XPert 98 with 8 megs of video RAM. That's a lot more video RAM than this particular system needs. I sure hope it has a score to go along with that higher end chip. Alright, on the PC player, no, this isn't PC player, this is, yeah, that first one. 75.3, that's disappointing. That's as good as the S3 ViRGE DX. That was the 3D bench. This one is going to be Chris's 3D bench. Really makes me question the results then. I'm positive this ATi card should have beat the other graphics cards, and yet it scores lower. That doesn't make sense to me. Or maybe this CPU just cannot drive these chips as hard as they should be driven. This 8 meg PCI card seems to be a better match for a faster, like an AMD K5 300. Yeah, 21.9 frames. Still on the low side. I would have expected it to beat it. And last but not least, the PC player benchmark. Or maybe all the magic really is in graphics acceleration under Windows for these newer cards, which makes them slightly poorer DOS performers. Well, we got the bottom cut off again. 10.4. That's our second slowest score. Well, I mean, as it is, based on those results, which I'm not entirely sure I can fully trust, the Cirrus logic is just fine for this particular machine, and I may as well stick with the onboard video. So, there you have it. 5 video cards, well, 4 in one onboard, all compared against one another, in a Compaq Prolinea 575 with an AMD K5 PR120. Thanks for watching.